Hi, this is Dr. San Abdullah. I'm here with this course Introduction to Natural Language Processing. The topic which we are covering is co-reference resolution, first part of that topic. So we have a supplemental website for this course, which is easymcq.com/goget. I'll briefly tell you about that website, which is basically a learning management system. So this is the contents of the course, and we are at topic number 8, which is co-reference resolution. And this is the learning management system I was referring to. It has several useful features: powerful search in a Q&A format, multi-level answers, and it consists of customization of your interface and tracking your progress and also taking online exams. So now we move on to the supplemental website. This is the supplemental website, and as you can see, there are quite a few courses, cutting edge courses, lot of market demand, like artificial intelligence, like machine learning. Core computer science courses are also here, like data structures and algorithms and so on. But this lecture is the focus is natural language processing. So we go on to natural language processing, and as you can see, there are 15 topics, and the question and answers for each topic are listed against it. So we go to topic number 8, which is co-reference resolution. So we start with the first Q&A, question and answer. The question is, what is a real world entity in natural language processing? Why we are talking of an entity? Because co-reference resolution is used in recognizing the entities and the relationship between them also. So what is an entity? So entity is used, it can be a person, it is a location, it can be an organization, it can be date, time, it can be event. And the purpose is to identify the entity. Which entity is a place, which is an organization, which is a product, and so on. So it's a complex problem. So we are interested in identification of the entity. For example, Albert Einstein is a specific proper noun entity. And of course, there are generic entities such as a dog or a cat or a mouse. And then specificity, specific to an organization, specific to a product, specific to a person, and it has a contextual meaning also. For example, apple with a capital A has different meaning as compared to apple with a lowercase a. So there are different examples of real world entities which are listed on your screen. For example, name of a person, name of a city, name of an organization, Google. And of course, Google can be a verb also. Here it is a noun. So July 14, 1776 is an entity and a specific date. So how real world entities are used in natural language processing? For example, Apple announced the iPhone 14 in Cupertino on November this and September 7th, 2022. So the entities need to be identified. So here are those entities identified. So and then is the linking of the entities. And of course, in co-reference resolution, identifying different mentions in the text refer to which entity. So for example, he is referring to Barack Obama, or he is referring to somebody else, because he is doesn't carry a lot of information. So the purpose of co-reference resolution is to know what is meant by he, what is meant by she, what is meant by there, what is meant by whose, and so on. So it's a challenging task. And of course, if you want to know more about the entities, here are the references. So what is meant by co-reference resolution in natural language processing? So in natural language processing, pronoun resolution. Okay, which pronoun means what? Noun phrase resolution. So I give you example. For example, pronoun. So for example, let's look at this example. Alice went to the market. She bought some apples. Now she here is she means the Alice. So this is the co-reference resolution. And of course, there are many types of these co-reference resolutions. We'll discuss all of them. And so the key concepts is pronoun resolution, identifying a noun or a pronoun. Example, what is meant by he, she, and it. Okay. Noun phrase resolution, for example, which noun phrase refer to the same entity? The president, for example, the leader is the president, and also the person, which is Barack Obama. Antecedent, the word phrase that confront. This will become clear to you. What has happened or what occurred before. And co-referent, the word phrase that refers back to the antecedent. So this is nothing to worry about, because this is going to become very clear. So what are the applications of a co-reference resolution? Question answering, because then it gives the clarity that what is being referred to. Information retrieval, again the same case, that if we are able to, or the machine is able to perform the co-reference resolution, then it's better information retrieval. Machine translation, again the same thing. Text summarization. So we'll actually I'm quickly referring to them, but we'll go into more detail in the coming Q&As. So let's look at this statement and try to do a co-reference resolution. I voted for Tony because he was most aligned with my values, Sam said. So let's identify the issues and perform the co-reference resolution. So this is the original sentence, okay? And now this statement or this sentence is the same sentence but with the co-reference resolution performed. So I means Sam. I mean Sam. Okay. Let me make it more clear. So I mean Sam. Just hold on. Okay. So I mean Sam. Okay. He means Tony. My values, Sam's values. So my values, Sam's values. Okay. So this is how what is meant by co-reference resolution actually. Okay. So let me clean this also. Okay. Let me clean this. Yes. Sorry about that. Okay. So what are the issues? The issues are he is ambiguous. What is meant by he? He could be either Tony or Sam. So need to clarify for the machine. So he refers to Tony and not Sam. Why? Because the sentence is statement made by Sam, but Sam is not the subject of the action voted for. Okay, the subject is I. Okay, so I voted for Tony. So the clause become because he was most aligned with my values and my is Sam. So this is the final resolution. So this stems from the ambiguity introduced by the pronoun he. He meant Tony or he meant Sam. And by considering the context and analyzing the sentence structure, the system resolves the he to Tony. All right. So this is how it works. And of course, it's a challenging problem. As we proceed, you will discover. So what are the key benefits of co-reference resolution? Improve text understanding. How? Machines to understand the relationships between different parts of the text. So the machines can better understand. This is essential for tasks that require deep comprehension, such as question answering and information retrieval and information extraction. Enhances information retrieval. Search queue that contains pronouns, co-reference resolution can clarify the intended. Now, I'm sorry about this watermark. So if you have a phone, you move your phone, tilt its orientation. So this watermark will also move. So better machine translation, correctly resolving the co-reference is critical. If pronouns or noun phrases are incorrectly matched with antecedents, that is going to result in wrong translation. It may become ambiguous. It may become incorrect. Contextual text summarization, especially for extractive and abstractive methods, because then without co-reference resolution, it will lose the context. Improved dialogue system where maintaining context across multiple terms is critical. Who is saying, she is saying, when and where. Entity linking and knowledge graph construction. Knowledge graph construction is not part of this course. This is an introductory course, but it helps in generating such graphs. So let's look at this problem more deeply. So what is meant by the reference? So one thing was co-reference resolution. Now we're looking at something different, which is reference resolution. So let's perform the reference resolution for this statement over here. Okay. So the statement is, you can read the statement, I don't have to read it. So first of all, identify the entities and the references in the sentence, and then resolve the references. So we'll go into something which is called as anaphora resolution. I will explain it to you in the upcoming Q&A. And it involves identifying the antecedent of words like pronouns, what has happened, what has been mentioned before, or any expression that previously mentions an entity. So if you look at this statement, so the pronoun his means, and the phrase the 57-year-old referring to the same person, right? So need to map to the right entities. Okay. His salary, let me again draw it for you. So his and the 57-year-old and John Smith, these are the same people. This is easy for us. We are humans, we are very smart as compared to machines, but machines have a hard time understanding all of this. They have a hard time. Okay. All right. So let's move ahead. So John Smith and of course he's also the CFO. So they're all of them together. And resolution of these references, his means John Smith, 57-year-old is John Smith, and all of them are John Smith. And the explanation is that this helps establish the link which I drew using the red ink. So this is how basically this is another way of looking at the reference resolution. So we see that John Smith, his CFO, 57-year-old president, so they are all the same person. And within that we have nested. Prime Corporation is the financial services company. So we need to enable the machine to understand all of this. So now we start with the next set of Q&As. Give examples of different types of references that are more common and interesting in NLP. So since there are quite a few of them, so I have divided into two parts. Part one, let's look at part one. So the part one says, which is called as pronouns and anaphora. And of course, then as the co-reference, which is the noun phrases. So let me start with some simple examples. Pronouns are words that stand instead of a noun. For example, instead of calling Sam, we can say a he. All right. So Sarah bought a new dress. She loves it. So when we say anaphora resolution, it means that Sarah is she. She corresponds to Sarah. And then of course, let me also draw this for you. Mark this for you also. So when we say Sarah bought a dress, so she means Sarah. Okay. So this is how the resolution takes place. John said he was tired, but he still went to work. So John is a hardworking person. So he means John. So this is anaphora. Noun phrase co-reference. The team won the championship. The victory was hard earned. So a noun phrase. So over here we have pronouns. Okay. And then we have a noun phrase, a group of words that together form the subject. So the victory, okay, the victory team's championship. So won the so this is the championship, okay, and with the team's championship won the championship. That's how it goes. Let me clear this and move ahead as you move ahead. Okay, so that was a noun phrase. Let's okay, okay, now example, Harry is a brilliant student. The young man has a bright future. So now we see that we were looking at, let me open this again. So we were looking at a group of words. So the young man is a group of words, and it is referring to what? Harry. Referring to Harry. Then is the reflexive. Now it becomes difficult and complicated as you proceed. Reflexive pronouns refer back to the subject of the clause or a sentence. Alice saw herself in the mirror. So herself is referring to Alice. He completed the task all by himself. So there is no name over here, but himself is referring to he. Right? Let me clear this and close this. All right. So move ahead. Definitive noun phrases. A noun phrase that uses the word the. So the, it means that we are specifically mentioning something or other determiners to specify a particular reference. Okay. The cat is a specific cat. A cat is not a specific cat. So let's look at it. Okay. The dog barked. The dog barked loudly. The animal ran towards the door. So we are referring to a specific animal, and that specific animal is the dog. Okay, the Eiffel Tower in Paris. It is a famous landmark. Uh, if you get a chance, go to Paris, do visit Eiffel Tower. Nice place to be. I've been there. So it is referring to the Eiffel Tower. All right. Then are the implied references. Implied references, ellipses occur when part of the sentence is omitted because it is implied or understood from the context. Tom has a dog and Jerry has one too. No, there is no reference of any animal or anything. There is no reference. Okay. But over here, this one is corresponding to the dog. Mary went to the market and Alice did too. So did to where Alice did, Alice also went to the market. Going to the market. Okay. Then are the relative clauses. Okay. So it gets getting more and more interesting. Relative clauses modifies a noun by providing additional information about it. The noun being described can be the reference or antecedent. The car which was red belonged to Peter. Okay. So we are providing additional information. So there could be other colored cars also, but the red car belongs to Peter. The car that referred to the car. The car, okay, the car which was red. All right. The book that I bought yesterday is amazing. So what is amazing? That the book which was bought yesterday. So this is with reference to the relatives. Okay, now it gets more interesting and challenging. Let me go on to that specific ones. All right. So temporal. Yeah, this is very interesting. Disjoint references. This creates an ambiguity. This is very interesting. Ambiguity. John met his brother at the park. He was playing basketball. Now the question is that he could be John and he could be his brother. So John met his brother at the park while his brother was playing basketball, or while John was playing basketball, he met his brother. So there's an ambiguity here. So depending on the context, it needs further clarification. The president of the company spoke at the event. He was very inspiring. Okay. He could refer to the president. This is easy. This is kind of easy. Okay. This is easy. This is easy. But this is ambiguous, fairly ambiguous. Now let me clean this and move ahead. Okay, didactic references. This is very interesting. Look at this, it's amazing. Look at this, it's amazing. So this refers to the object that speaker is pointing or referring in the context, or this item is amazing. Item is amazing, or look at this. Okay, this basically or referring to in the context. Maybe this speech is amazing. Okay, this talk is amazing, maybe. Okay, so this is how it goes. So if you are more interested, as before I mentioned number of times, you can look at these wonderful references. So what is the difference between co-reference, anaphors, and cataphors? Tom met his friend at the party. He gave him a hug. Okay, this is co-reference. This is kind of simple, because over here he means Tom. John arrived at the office. He looked around for his co-worker. Over here, I know he refers to John, but what's the challenge here? Let's look at the challenge. Let's look at the challenge. So, refer between two or more expressions in a text that refer to the same entity. And for a specific kind of co-reference, where back to a previously mentioned entity. Previously, the keyword over here is previously mentioned entity. Previous is the keyword. John called his friend. Here John refers to John. Here he refers to John, which appears earlier in the sentence. So we have this part of sentence, okay, and we have this part of sentence. So it is referred over here. So that is why it is called as anaphora. Okay, let me clean it. Cataphora is the opposite of anaphora. It occurs when the referring expression appears before the entity antecedent. Before she left, Mary packed her bag. She is the anaphor and Mary is the antecedent. Okay, before she left. So we see that the sequence has changed. So this is a summary of differences here. And for further comparison, Tom met his friend at the party. He gave him a hug. Tom and he are the co-reference. Anaphora, John arrived at the office. He looked around for his co-worker. He refers back to John. He refers. Okay. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, he refers back to John. Tom met his friend at the party. He gave him a hug. So friend and Tom are in the same sentence. Okay, they're in the same sentence. Cataphora, before she went to work, Jane had a cup of coffee. She refers to Jane, but the reference she comes from the antecedent, Jane. Okay, so this is quite interesting and challenging. So let me clean this and we move on to the next one. Okay, show diagrammatically the difference between co-referencing and anaphora. It's very simple. So co-reference, say this is A, this is say Tom, and this is he. So both are referring to the same person. Tom and he are same. In anaphora, this is, say for example, this is he refers to Tom. He refers to Tom, and then Tom refers to the actual thing. Actual. All right. So this is how it goes. And then we move on to the next. This is very interesting. This is very interesting, and I'll go into more detail. So what is a span in NLP as compared to a token? Token versus a span. So this is a different concept. So what I'll do is I'll stop here, and in the next part of the lecture and the video, we'll start from here. All right. So we stop here.